Joining us now to further discuss this on the news is Adewale Ajadi, an agricultural development expert, public affairs analyst, and of course a lawyer. Thank you very much, Mr. Ajadi, for joining us on the news. Now help us understand this whole idea of farm estate. How does this help in achieving food self-sufficiency?
Well, it's a very exciting piece of news, very encouraging, because we've had a history of trying farm settlements and estates in Nigeria, and we've had mixed results. But this gives an opportunity to ensure food sustainability, because if you have a farming estate, you can have a processing unit with it, you can have storage unit in it, and you can ensure that there's employment for a teeming majority of young people, either through government subsidy of those estates or actually creating innovation centers where they can engage. So it's such a bold move, especially because it covers the land and covers every senatorial district. And well, the real story will be in the implementation, certainly, but as a policy move, it's very powerful.
But then how do farm estates work? Ideally, how is it supposed to work in a country like Nigeria?
Well, we would see how this will work, because we've seen how it's worked in East Israel, and it was copied in Nigeria under the Western region, and certainly on the eastern part of the country. In the Western region, there's been mixed success. The Akindeko program had mixed success. But we know for a fact that, number one, when we ensure agriculture translates into industrial development with government support, it's going to boost a lot of things. Think about it for 1 minute. Without these estates, we moved from 2 million metric tons of rice in 2015 to 9 million metric tons of rice now. Now, we know that with better yield, we can do a lot better than that. And in states where people are serious about the sustainability of food rearing and crop development, like Kebbi State, like Ogun State you're talking about, we've seen incredible progress. So it's only states where there's natural resources, but they've not been handled. I mean, we know states in the North Central that are should be the greatest producer of yam in the world, but they have some of the largest markets in the world, but they've not translated it into internally generated revenue or employment for their people. So it's really still going to be down to implementation. But we've not seen the color of the implementation yet. But as a principle of creating a holding space for young people to participate in agriculture in a structured and an innovative way, this is an exciting result.
And very quickly now, Mr. Ajadi, before we let you go, now let's talk about the current state of the agricultural sector as a whole. And of course, we can't do that without talking about the recent sacking of the Minister of Agric and Rural Development, who has now been replaced by the former Minister of Environment. Now, what bearing do you think this will have on the sector?
Well, I think that the former Minister of Agric might have been a square peg in a round hole. If you know that prior to that, Chief Adokwe, who I quite interestingly served with in terms of supporting his office at some time, did such incredible work, because he was able to create a space for producers to engage. And he was a great raconteur of agriculture. It was in the public mind. There was debates about cultural policy and all of that. I think his successor was a bit of a project-minded person, but he did not quite succeed. So it is brave of the president and his team to look and see what they can do, because agriculture is critical to our diversification from oil, and sustainability of agricultural produce in the current circumstances we are in is also important. And I must add that the balancing out of the concern of livestock rearing, especially cattle, and farmers, has been a contention in recent years. So someone who has a high-profile way of reconciling those interests is also going to be important.
Well, Mr. Adewale Ajadi, agricultural development expert, we thank you very much for joining us on News Now.